Hey guys, it's Nicole. I've decided to do a spontaneous live video because my background just fell on me. So, but not really, it kind of fell in the back of my chair. But, it's Friday morning. I have a Friday business meeting typically at this time. And, well, not typically at this time. I'm usually done by 8:30. So I just come to work and I use this time to kind of get myself set up for the end of the week, thinking about next week. Kind of do some planning. And a lot of this time is I think about business development. So a lot of you know that I'm sort of interested in helping businesses start. So a lot of the work we do, marketing, we work with businesses that are starting up. And then in this co-working space that I work in, we work with a lot of other businesses that need workspace like we do. So I actually came up with 10 ideas as I was driving here. And I wasn't driving from that far, of businesses that I think somebody could run around here pretty easily. So none of these cost more than a couple $100 to start up, even less. And none of these is really, I think, necessarily difficult to do. I mean, some of them require some training, but it's nothing that you couldn't accomplish, in the course of a year, something like that. So anyway, so one thing that I would love to exist around here is an event distributor. So here's how I could see this working. Whenever we do an event or we have a client who does an event, there's a series of things that we have to do to get the word out. So we got to make the Facebook event, we got to alert the local community calendars, we have to put together a press release, and honestly, this could kind of be bundled together and just be taken care of by somebody. And if somebody did this stuff really regularly, I'm sure they'd come up with efficiencies to the process too. And honestly, to not have to promote my own event, I would totally pay someone sometimes to just be like, okay, here's the workshop that we want to have in November. Please distribute it to these places. So if you want to become this person, I'm happy to sit with you and talk about what I think could happen. So an event publisher, like I said, it's something that we need help with, especially if you're in the middle of planning an event and running two businesses. Sometimes you don't do as great a job with it as you want to. A stuff reseller. So we've got Bar Harbor Barter and Swap. We have Craigslist. We have eBay. And most of us have got a bunch of junk in our basement, in our office. And the thing is, I don't want to deal with my own junk. I would love to give it to someone and just say, you know what, sell it online, find the appropriate venue for it, and you can take a pretty big cut for that. Feel free to take 40, 50%. I don't know what the going rate is, but if you want to resell my crap, I've got half of a storage unit that I would gladly let you have at, and I'm sure other people would too. So most of us don't want to deal with Bar Harbor Barter and Swap, and if you're one of those people who's on it all day, why don't you make some cash from making connections for people and selling somebody else's stuff? So being a stuff reseller, that's something I think could do really well around here, because most of us, we don't want to deal with it, but we're more than happy to have our stuff be gone. Another thing too is, I know we have Serendipity, which is great, but we also, the closest consignment shop is in Bangor, and it's called Charlotte Lorraine's. If you ever are in Bangor, it's a really good shop. And they do sell things on commission. So what I think what their model is they sell your stuff, and I think you get 40% or something like that, or 60%. They keep a percentage, and if your stuff doesn't sell in 2 to 3 months, they donate it to Goodwill. So I think though that somebody, if you have higher end clothes, it's kind of nice. Yeah, it's great to give it away, but I've seen people try to sell clothes on Bar Harbor Barter and Swap, and it just doesn't go well because honestly, most people, I gotta try stuff on, to see if it works. So having maybe a pop-up consignment shop where you could source people's designer clothes and things like that, and having one central location where you could set up, have people try stuff on. You don't need to commit to a full-time storefront, but you could just do it once in a while, the first Saturday of every month or something like that. And if you want to do something like that, I am happy to help you find space to do that. So, hey Cass. I'm bored at work without you, so I'm just doing this. Another thing that I would love, and I'm sure other businesses in this town would love, I'm calling it a deposit runner. Okay, so for example, I have a stack of checks. I have to go to the bank and I have to deposit them. But some people also have cash and things like that too. So whoever this person is has to be pretty trustworthy. But what I want to do is I want to hand my stuff to someone and just be like, can you go take care of this? And what this person could do is establish relationships with the local bank. And if somebody was going to Camden National anyway, they could bring my deposit and all the other Camden, and they could do it all at the same time and charge a nominal fee for that and just be a deposit runner, okay? Like I said, and a lot of businesses in this town, when they're really busy in the summer especially, would totally pay someone to do that. And it's something that you could do during regular business hours, and it wouldn't be something that would have to even be full-time. So I'm not promising that these are full-time businesses. I'm just promising like this is a service that I would pay for, and that probably other people would pay for too, that other people aren't doing around here. Okay, food delivery. Now I don't get why this doesn't work around here, because I feel like there's a food delivery person who serves the Ellsworth area. But there are times where I would pay money to just have a taco salad show up at my house. You know what I mean? And I get that I would pay dearly for that. But the food delivery person could be working either with the person getting the food delivered in terms of charging them, or could be working with the restaurants in terms of having the restaurants be able to upsell this. So this person could work it from multiple angles. And yeah, if you're going, you know, if you planned your stuff right, you could be going to the same area or have a network of drivers that could help you deliver food. Because like, you know, and it could even be that you only do it like Tuesdays or Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays or something like that. You know, maybe you're not doing it all the time. I also think there should be a matchmaking service. And hear me out. So we all know each other here, right? I feel like I've met every single person that lives on this island. If you're watching this and haven't met me, please prove me wrong. But I would pay somebody to, you know, if I was in the market, I would pay somebody $250, $300. I'd give them my information, whatever they wanted. And if they set me up on 2 to 3 non-crappy dates, I would be really happy about it. And I think a lot of people would feel similarly. So not that, because I think most people are really crappy at finding their own significant others sometimes. So I think a Down East matchmaking service would be awesome, because then you could get to know people and you could sort of get a vibe of people get along. And let's face it, some people are really good at this. If you're the kind of person who set people up and had multiple marriages come out of it, please consider starting a Down East matchmaking service. That would be awesome. Photocopy repair. Okay, so we have a photocopier here in the office. It has a sticker on it. There's a phone number. There's an email address. I've called the phone number. It is out of service. I've emailed the address. I've gotten no answer. Apparently, there is nobody in a 60-mile radius that services photocopiers. Now, if I'm wrong, please tell me, because I have been wrong before. But if somebody just got okay at repairing photocopiers, just think of how many businesses, like I have one, right? And I get that I'm not like an amazing client because I have one photocopier. But if you just had 200 businesses that each had one photocopier, you could do a bang up part-time or almost full-time, servicing and repair photocopy business. I looked online before I started this broadcast just to see real quick if it existed. And there's all these crappy websites like copiernearyou.com and stuff like that that clearly don't have anything local on them. All right. The other thing is running a major event, right? A one-time thing. There's nothing to say, by the way, that if you run an event, you don't have to make any money on it. I am a firm believer that you can serve people and make money at the same time. So an idea that I've had before, and I've seen it happen, if you've ever been to St. John, New Brunswick, I don't know if anybody's ever been to St. John, New Brunswick, there's like a boardwalk, and I believe they have like a buskers festival in the summer. I think it runs for a few weeks, and since there's a boardwalk, there's, street performers, the kind of people who like would eat fire or juggle stuff or whatever. Now, I think that Bar Harbor is sort of walk friendly enough and does have a few places that we could have a buskers festival. So if you were the kind of person who's like, you know what, I really love throwing parties, and I love the idea of making money throwing a big party in this town, I will 100% come to your buskers festival and tell everyone about your buskers festival. But there could be something else like that this town has. And it doesn't have to be organized by the chamber. It doesn't have to be organized by a nonprofit group. There's nothing to say that you can't say, you know what, I want to do this. And trust me, the town will come behind you. I know Nina St. Germain and I just did the Island Story Slam a few weeks ago. And we had over 200 people come on a rainy Saturday night where the power went out for like 10 minutes. They still came. to this event. And it just goes to show you that people will show up if you're the kind of person who wants to do something interesting. So feel free to throw an event and price it in such a way that, you know, you're getting the performers and they're making money, and you're promoting it, so you're paying money to do that, but make it so that you make money doing it too. What's open? Okay, here's the thing. I want to know if the Morning Glory is open, okay? And I don't want to have to drive there to see that it's not open. And I'm 90% sure it's open today, so this is why I use this as an example. But the thing is, I get that we have the Merchants Association, and that's fine. But what I want is a website that I can go to at 8 a.m. on a Sunday and just, you know, what's open, and everything that's open pulls up. Or I can search and it'll just say, Dog and Pony is closed. Blah, blah, blah is open. I don't know. It doesn't have to even be really technically robust. I just want to see what's open. Now, you know, businesses could pay to be a part of it. I don't think, like I said, I don't think it has to necessarily be a chamber thing. I just want to like see what's open. And if you're providing that service of updating that website every day or checking things, I think that you should make some money on that. And whether that's whether that's that you stick a banner ad on the website, or whether that's you, you know, you charge people like 25 cents to see who's open or something like that. The model, we can think about the model, but just like what's open, I would pay to know that. I would pay to not drive 15 minutes into downtown Bar Harbor and find that the thing I wanted to go to is closed. I really would. And then my final thing is like some kind of ethnic food production / delivery. So sometimes, like, you know, you just want Indian food, right? Now let's pretend that you're really good at making Indian food, which you may be. There's one person watching this right now. This one person watching, you might be really good at Indian food. What you could do is say, you know what, every Thursdays, I'm gonna make a giant pot of awesome Indian food, and whoever wants to order it, you know, here's the online order form, place your order by, you know, the night before so that you know how much to make. And I will, you know, put it at this, you know, I will be at this location between these, you know, between these 2 hours for you to pick up your Indian food on your way home from work, okay? And it could just, like I said, it could be something you were gonna make anyway, but you're just making it like, I know from my batch cooking that doing, you know, 8 servings of something versus doing, you know, 2 servings of something, the 8 servings isn't that much more work. So by all means, like I said, especially if it's food we can't get around here, I know I would personally, I would love some fresh dumplings, I would love some Indian food, I would love pretty much anything that I can't get in the winter, especially here in Bar Harbor. And this could be a food thing that you know, cook at your house and deliver to people. Please, by the way, I will add this disclaimer, check local regulations before you do any of this. But I just see these opportunities, right? There's these things that people want and can't get, but are willing to pay for. And then there's people in this community who either want to earn more money or want something year-round going on. So why not start a little business? Why not serve a need and do something that you like doing and make a little extra money in the process? Anyway, so those are my 10 ideas. I have lots of other ideas. Ask poor Cassie. I vent to her all. I'm like, why doesn't anyone do this? Why doesn't anyone do that? There's probably reasons why people don't do these things, but it's worth a look anyway. And just open up your mind and look around. And if you hear more than 3 people complain about something, think, maybe that's an idea. So anyway, thanks for watching. I've avoided making coffee now for 10 minutes. So I'm gonna go make the coffee now for the day here at Anchor Space. If you wanna come work from here, Fridays is usually a not super busy day here. And you know, so we got plenty of room. I accidentally left the heat on last night, so it's nice and warm up here. And we've got pretty high speed internet. So yeah, just come hang out, start your business today, or just at least start looking into it. That's the other thing. There's nothing wrong with asking your family and friends, like, okay, I'm thinking about, you know, hey, I'm thinking about running deposits to people for the bank, you know, letting people just have a weekly service where I show up and I pick up the deposits and I run it to the bank for them. How much would you pay for that? Just ask them, and see if it's worth it. There's nothing wrong with doing a little research before you jump in. And oftentimes asking people is great. Oftentimes looking at other services in other locations and what they charge and seeing if it's like worth your time, is a good idea. But anyway, there's plenty of businesses you can start right from where you're at, and they don't have to be full-time. They don't take a lot of money. They can just serve a need. So thanks for watching. Sorry I talked a lot, and maybe I'll do this again next week. Let me know what you thought of this. This was just kind of a spontaneous Friday thing. So I could avoid making coffee, and I could try out my awesome new cell phone case that has suction at the back. So I have this stuck on my computer monitor right now, and it's just staying there. Like, look, I'm like hands-free, and it's on my computer. So I could stick this to a wall, or I could stick this to maybe a window, just any flat surface. So I kind of wanted to try out my new case because I just got it today. It's very exciting. So anyway, thanks for watching. I will see you soon.